in order to make the entire world, and the entire world will have to respond to these words, I'm going to say something about the subject of slavery. Number one, no person should be honored or rewarded, or their statue should be displayed in front of a government building if they thought human life was so cheap it could be purchased like property, treated like a possession, or owned or called a slave. Anyone, even our president, they should take his name down off of the statues, off the bills, and they should take his statues down in front of the buildings. I agree. But in so doing, all of America has taken down statues and names off of buildings all across America. But in so doing, you failed to take down the name of the greatest promoter of slavery in the existence of mankind now, Jesus Christ. He's the most listened to advisor in all mankind's history, and he has 6 billion copies of his advice in print. And this is what he said about slaves. Slaves, honor and obey your masters. Work unto them as if you're working unto God, in all long-suffering and patience. Now, if I was a slave owner during the Civil War days, I would have used Jesus' words as my defense for having one. I would have said, well, my God tells me my slaves are supposed to honor and obey me. It doesn't say anything about them being set free. And it's a miracle altogether that those words weren't used. But that's another subject for another day. The fact remains that he condones and blesses the owner of slaves by saying so. When a person believes they have to work as hard for their employer, and the only employer they have to work that hard for is a slave owner, as they do for God, then that person has blessed the hand of anyone that has those employees, namely the slave owner. So he not only did not condemn it, he condoned it and blessed it. So since he's the most listened to advisor, since his advice is in 6 billion copies, then he is the number one promoter of slavery. Take his goddamn name down. Everyone on the planet becomes a lying sack of shit over the truth of these words, making you have to take his name down. If you agree people who are pro-slavery's names deserve to come down, you can't not take his name down. Again, my words, forcing all humanity to pretend like they're morally above my words, but then force them to be a lying sack of shit on Judgment Day. That's how mighty my words are. That's what a lying fag you are. Everyone hearing his words pretending you have to make a decision today and say it out loud. I understand Jesus is the most greatest promoter of slavery, and I now insist his name comes down. Fair to say that if you're in this video, it's just to be a coward. So be a man and say the words, and be a man once more. Amen.